Hello everyone, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews, and I just finished my 1-week quarantine with COVID, which means I've been listening to the hi-fi audio Zen Air Dac for an entire week. And because I own the Zen Dac V2, I've been able to do back and forwards listening to both of these. The Air is €100 and the Zen Dac V2 is €200, and to be honest, during my testing I was not able to hear any difference between these two. So why would you get one over the other then? Well, for starters, I think the Air Dac, the Zen Air Dac, is probably the first DAC that I would actually recommend to people in like this budget range. Now, for the longest time, I've been saying USB sound cards and just PCI sound cards and DACs in general with modern day motherboards and low impedance headphones are a bit of a waste. But then I spent $200 on the Zen Dac V2 and I absolutely loved it, not just because it looks good and because of its feature set, and that was basically it. Not just because of that, but because it just sounded better than my motherboard. After that, I saw that hi-fi audio for €100 released the Zen Air Dac instead of the Zen Dac V2. And what you sacrifice for basically paying half the price is fairly simple. You no longer get the balanced audio port, because how many people do you know with balanced headphones? Not a whole lot. It's a cool audiophile thing, but who the hell actually uses that? And then you also sacrifice the ability to do click this little switch to either use it as an amp or not use it as an amp. And you can actually see that on the box. The Air box says headphone amp. The other one doesn't, even though the Zen Dac V2 is still a headphone amp, but it just doesn't say on the box. So those are basically the two features you sacrifice for half the price, and those are features you don't really use. Another feature you sacrifice for this new half price sort of product is, I wouldn't say build quality, because build quality is really good, but you do sacrifice materials. This is metal, it's very cold to the touch, great. Not that you should actually touch it, because this one's a bit of a fingerprint magnet. The Air version is plastic fantastic, no fingerprints. It's a lot lighter. I think this is like 300 something grams and this is like 800 something grams. I don't see the point in having a metal one when you can have a plastic one that's lighter if you want to carry it, but also that is half the price. Now, as I said at the start of this video, I cannot hear the difference between either one of these. And I've been using mostly the DT990 Pro. This is a 250 ohm headphone. And while I no longer have 600 ohm headphones to try, I did try 600 ohm headphones with the Zen Dac and the Zen Dac V2, I should say. And the Zen Dac Air is actually slightly louder if you have the dial in exactly the same position. So I have no doubts that this one will do it just fine as well. Now, that said, there are a few other small differences between these two. For example, one of them we'll call the bass button, if I can find it, the bass button. One of them calls it true bass, the other's X bass. I don't really know what the difference is. It's probably something very tiny, but again, I cannot hear the difference going from one unit to the other and back and forth, listening to the same track over and over and over. They sound identical. Maybe my ears aren't good, so if you have tried both of these, let me know in the comments, but I could not hear a difference. What I do love is this X bass or the true bass, whatever you want to call it, button, because it takes a very, let's say, boring sounding open back headphone like these or these hi-fi ones. It takes those flat-ish, maybe a bit treble heavy headphones, and it turns them into something that's really fun to listen to. I've always loved that about this guy, and now this one does it for half the price. That's cool. They also have a power match button. Now, the power match button is something I don't really touch a whole lot. The idea is that if you go with higher impedance headphones, the device will detect it and automatically up your gain, which is really cool, but you do have this analog button here, or analog dial. So I don't see the point of just, me flipping the dial, turning the dial a little bit. What's really nice with these is the dial is an actual analog dial. Now, it does digitally adjust your audio later on, but the actual function of it is a proper analog dial. Hi-Fi makes a big deal out of it. And I guess it's slightly more precise than pressing a button to go louder or quieter, but to me it's a bit of a silly one. Now, sitting in front of these, that's basically all the feature differences that I can tell about. However, if you look at the back, and I will give you guys a good feel, sitting at the back you can see that both of these have these RCA left and right channel outputs. And I use these outputs to record audio into a field recorder, basically play a track, record it into a field recorder straight away, and then I was analyzing this in Audition, and I couldn't see or hear a difference between these two. It's really amazing how iFi managed to basically take everything that's good about this and take what you don't need, throw it away, put it in this plastic fantastic box here, sell it to you for a really low price. I mean, especially with inflation and such these days, the price of this is really good. A small difference you may see here is one of these, the Zen Dac V2, has a USB 3 port, whereas the Zen Air Dac has a USB 2 port. Do you need USB 3 on a DAC? Absolutely not. The day we get bit rates high enough to require USB 3, my ears are just not ready for that. And just like with the Zen Dac V2, iFi gives you a USB cable to plug in. It is the same amazing USB cable, but look at how just short this is. I mean, this is a really wide angle lens and I'm still having the entire cable in field of view for you guys. This is so annoying because every time you get one of these, you have to buy the device and then you have to buy like a 1 meter USB extension cable so you can plug it into the back of your PC instead of the front. And iFi, please just add a 1.5 or 1.2 meter cable. It would make all our lives so much better. For a conclusion of this video, the iFi Zen Air Dac, guys, I think it's an absolute no-brainer if you're looking for a budget DAC amp combo, because it's a great DAC, it's a great amp. There's really not much more to say about it, just get it. I don't think you can get anything better for 100 euros. Guys, if you liked this video, hit that like button. If you didn't, dislike button. Feel free to subscribe and leave a comment if you have any questions. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.